If you're watching after the live, you're just gonna wait a little bit, let some people hop on. We'll be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. Yesterday was a good practice up in Massachusetts. We were missing our the team Ginger was missing, you know, which was upsetting. Some people actually shed a couple tears, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But if you're just watching, I've been doing. It's got to be almost a month now or something. It's got to be almost a month probably. I've been doing the pre-lift lives. So before I do my lifts in the morning, I hop on and do a little live. We can talk about whatever. Um, Lately, because it just happened about was it a week, 2 weeks ago. Um, Two things, two events, two big events. Um, on Friday was the first ever Dungeon Supermatch series in the dungeon itself. That's a very big deal. Anybody that knows the dungeon knows that there's no other place like it. The atmosphere, the training, um, the you know, there's been multiple world champions that have trained there. Um, I think the most, it's probably more, but I know at one time there was four world champions, at least. There could be more, but I know definitely there was four. Um, so it's definitely some good high caliber of athletes. Um, Plus, even just the visual of the dungeon. It's got if you're an arm wrestler, you probably everywhere you look, there's going to be something you like to see. We had 9 incredible matches. There was only one way to watch it live, and that was in person the day of. So if you were lucky enough to see those 9 incredible matches live, that's good. That was good. But if you weren't lucky enough, if you weren't able to make it, there's still time. Your next chance, and the only place you can watch these matches on the planet is this channel, Stone TV, under the memberships. Depending on your device, it might pop up as a join. There might be a join button, um, but it's under the memberships. Goes for $9.99. There's 9 incredible matches. Um, yeah, it's good. It was great. I mean, I can't tell you. I can't tell you the outcomes. Otherwise, I'd be breaking. No spoilers, no spoiler rule. But man, I'll tell you, it was. I was extremely impressed with how everything came together. Um, as a promoter, definitely, I think for the first time it went pretty smooth. Definitely have some things I need to improve on. I was one of the athletes. I feel like I had a match. I can't tell you the score, but it was a 1 versus 3. And I'll tell you this: two things. After the match, my arm is still sore, still clicking and popping. Um, but also too, I feel like I was definitely the strongest I've ever been for arm wrestling that day. And I think my opponents were also the strongest they've ever been. Um, John put on like 30 pounds, maybe 20, 25 pounds. Once he found out, he went from, 245 to like 270 or something. Damien almost, he put on 15, 20 pounds. He almost broke 300. Andrew was 280, 290. But I gotta say this about Andrew. My respect goes out to all my opponents, John, Damon, Andrew. But Andrew had to, as soon as the event was over, he had to go to the hospital because he didn't know it, but he had a blood clot in his leg. We were actually talking a little bit before the match, and it looked, he had some bruising on the thigh. So, he thought it was like a pulled groin muscle. You know, but yeah, definitely. I feel like that's something people need to know. Andrew is definitely a man of his word. So if he says he's going to be there, he's going to be there. If not, he's probably not with us anymore. But if he says he's going to be there, he'll be there. So I got to say that about Andrew. Damien, John, and Andrew, they were, of all the athletes besides me and Chief, they were the first athlete to show up. They were one of the only few athletes to show up on time or the right location. It's funny now, but I tell you what, at the time I was a little frustrated. But it worked out good because I had a match, an arm wrestling match about, at noon. So I was able to take some frustration out. So it worked out good. So let's see. A lot of athletes, stuff happens, but one thing that's definitely sure, the people that gave me the word for this event and kept the word, they're definitely, men and women of the word. People had a lot of personal problems, but they still kept the word, had the match, and put on an incredible show. So I got to give out to them. We had some last second. We had we have 9 matches. So we had like 33% of our matches have about last second cancellations, which that was definitely a little tricky to, because a lot of people were getting messages from me saying, hey, how you feeling about, what's your schedule tomorrow? Any chance you're free tomorrow? Because we got 24 hours looking for an opponent, or 48 hours. One was like 3 or 4 weeks maybe, but the last two one was 48 hours and the other one was 24 hours before the match. But I'll tell you what, the replacements, I honestly feel, there's no way to tell now because, we only have one side of the matches, but I do feel like the matches were way more, they were better matches. I also feel like they were more, for the fans, they were more entertaining. But yeah, I think everything worked out. Even the stuff that was, even the speed bumps in the beginning. I think it just, it all worked out. It all worked out great. The speed bumps in the beginning kind of, catapulted us right where we needed to be, It was a bunch of after pulling. I'm sure there's a bunch of video of after pulling. There's some videos on this channel of after pulling. Got some good matches. I know I got some video of Damien pulling Bill Sings and stuff like that. But the day after was the second annual Turtle Man Classic. Oops, spilling stuff. second annual Tournament Classic was a success. We had some, had some speed bumps, which um, definitely was new. We used the same system as we did last year. The only thing we could think of is the only problem that, let's see, the main thing that slowed everything down was two things. Um, First thing is more than 50% of the athletes of the tournament showed up late. It's probably, there was a lot going on, but when 11 o'clock, it was like 10:30, and we only had like, 3 or 4 signups. Signups stopped at 11. Most people showed up, 11:30. The problem with people showing up late is if people show up late, if you show up at 11:01, the tournament is already going to be 1 minute late. So if you show up 30 minutes late, we are already going to, we're going to start 30 minutes late. So that being said, next tournament, there will be a late fee. And we're going to be very strict on it. 11:01 is when the late fee starts, and it's going to be $123 for a late fee. Otherwise, we will not hold up the tournament out of respect for everyone's time and everyone that did show up on time. But the main thing that really stopped the tournament is we don't really know 100%, but what we think is there has to be a bug with the system. Must be an update. It must have been an update that had some kind of software bug. Because Bill, our bracket master, had everything ready to go. Everything was good. And then when he entered, it looked like a bomb went off. Every single bracket, every single weight class, every single division got slammed together. Names were cut in half. So, like, for example, Adam was Dan. It would only show up as Dan and then part of the last name. So there were a lot of, we used the same system as last time as the first event, and we didn't have that problem. So we started the tournament on paper brackets. We got it going with the ladies and the sit down. And then once we had the bracket set, we got the pros going. The original plan was to have pros first, but sometimes you just gotta roll with it. But I think it worked out great. I think the length of the last tournament was like 4.5, 5 hours, the first tournament. I think this one was 6.5. We did have more people. The ladies alone was, there was at least an hour and a half of just ladies arm wrestling, which I think that was great. Usually usually the ladies only have 2-3 matches, but I think some of these ladies had like 20 matches or something like that. I think maybe even more. Yeah, it worked out good. There were some injuries, unfortunately. No broken bones, but there were some really good pulls. There's some like pec pulls and stuff like that. Wacko had we don't know for sure. It's been a couple days since I talked to him. But I think he probably has a partial tear of his in his elbow. Probably the UCL, that pitcher's tendon. But hopefully, Wacko's pretty tough. He'll heal up. He'll come back stronger. So let's see. Um, let me know what you guys prefer camera angle. Do you like this one or do you like the vertical one? This is this is horizontal. Um, oh, also too, I want to say this about the pay-per-view. Depending on what device you use to sign up for memberships, it gets a little tricky. Um, iPhones have been like not working, not even an option. Maybe the newest iPhone, possibly, but most people with iPhones have not been able to watch the pay per view or even not even sign up. Um, Android's 50-50. That Google phone has not. Smart TVs are good. They usually give you a QR code or something. But the best way, the way that usually works every time, is is like a computer, a desktop. Um, so you want to go to memberships. So it's this channel, YouTube, Stone TV. You want to go to memberships. Depending on your device, it might come up as join. But click on that join button, and then memberships will pop up. It's the Stone TV pay-per-view membership. Goes for $9.99. All 9 matches are up right now. You also get if you're a member, you also get a 5% discount on Team Stone merchandise, which you can use as many times as you want, as long as you're a member. So you could buy, as long as you're a member, you could buy something every day and still get that discount every single day, as long as you're a member. Also, too, if you guys are members, I do want to post other videos, for members only. So if there's stuff you want to see, and you're a member, let me know. But I'd like to know what you guys think, and also what you guys like to watch. So yesterday's practice was pretty good. I went up to Massachusetts, Damien's place. Usually it's at Fitzy's, but he's got 1 ton of honey he's got to process, and that's not a joke. He has 2,200 pounds of honey, maybe more. But he showed up. 50 showed up for a little bit. He's feeling super strong. I think he might have a super match with Mike Hawks. Should be interesting. Should be interesting. But it was a good turnout. We were, like I said in the beginning, we were missing our team Ginger. He was a no-show. So hopefully nothing super bad happened. But I got a question for you guys. So old school arm wrestling and new school arm wrestling, how would you guys separate those two in terms of like theory and what is the biggest difference between old school and new school in your guys' opinion? Because I find that the old school, new school topic pretty interesting. I think there's there's advantages to both and also disadvantages to both. I feel the best arm wrestler is somebody that learns old school arm wrestling And then once they learn old school arm wrestling, they learn new school arm wrestling. So they have the best of both. Because I feel like there's times when certain styles, old school style and new school style, will have an advantage in certain positions. But yeah, it's interesting. Just checking the time. So what else can we talk about? Oops. We still got Turtle Man to see the Turtle Man 2. Turtle Man 2, we still got shirts left. I think a lot of people thought, so the first year shirts was the same logo but without the 2. See the green shirt over there somewhere, right over there. That's the first year shirts. Only 100 of those made. There's only been 100 of the second year shirts. There's still, I think there's like 20 left or something like that. So still definitely more than I was thinking. I thought they were going to sell out really fast, especially with the pre-orders going. But I think a lot of people at the tournament thought they were the same shirts as last year. But they're definitely different. Every year it's going to be the Turtleman Classic is going to have this logo, and then there's going to be a marking on the side to symbolize which year it was, as well as some of the sponsors are different on the back. Some of the sponsors are the same, um, some are different. And speaking of sponsors, if you guys want to be on the back of the shirts, we're getting ready for the next event. There's t-shirt spots. There's some sponsorship options that are a little lower. Like sometimes what we do, how they say table 1, table 2, instead of being table 1 or table 2, you could have your business, named after that table. So, for example, one of our main sponsors was Bow on the Go. So the table would be called, instead of being called Table 1, it'd be called Bow on the Go Table. That's another option. Let's see. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Anything about arm wrestling, gym stuff, training, even powerlifting. Yeah, it should be good. There's a tournament going on this Saturday in Danbury. Steve Fernandez is running it. That's going to be a good one. I'm probably not going to pull the tournament. I'm probably going to go to practice that morning of. And then I'm going to head over after. Maybe help out. And I got to bring some steppers, some risers. and I'll probably be a ref. But yeah, it should be fun. I just got a text from Paul Passmer. He was one of the athletes. He had 2 matches on the card, and they were great matches. One of his matches got match of the night. I'm not going to tell you which one. You're going to have to watch it. But it was great. It was great. He was one of the athletes where his original opponent dropped out, but I do think his replacement athlete, Shiyu Lin, was much of a better match, especially for the fans. But it should be good. Let's see. So, just looking at some buttons on the live. I think that stops the live for a second. Yeah, you know what? Let me try that. I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. All right, and we're back. We're back. Hopefully, you guys weren't waiting too long. So today I'm gonna do. It's probably gonna end up being a recovery workout. I'm gonna see how everything feels. But yesterday was really was some really hard training on the table. Um, I got there a little early with Damien. Worked on some things before practice, and it was a pretty good turnout. You know, it was like maybe 15, maybe 10 to 15, something like that. Good turnout. Um, let's see. We do have we got some Team Stone straps. I don't think I have one on me, but we got some Team Stone arm wrestling straps. They go for 20. We got some Team Stone t-shirts. They go for 30. Um, but yeah, it should be good. Should be good. Um, so let's see. Can't talked about the Dungeon Super Series. We talked about Turtle Man 2. We talked about the pay-per-view. What athlete? So I just posted a video. We did a little interview with Damien, giving his thoughts. What athlete would you guys like to see next? Who would you like to see me interview next? I'm trying to set up some lives with some of the athletes from the event. Um, yeah, so it should be good. Let me know who you want to see the most, and we'll try to get them, or her, depending. Um, Most arm wrestlers probably don't know this, but you should wash your arm wrestling straps. Otherwise, some of them are pretty good with not smelling super bad, but the ones that are like this, like they're tubes, cylinder. These ones soak up a lot of sweat, and they end up, you really gotta wash them. They end up smelling. But let's see, Axmed, what's up? What's up, man? Um, but yeah, fun fact: you gotta wash your straps, or at least rinse them out. At least throw them in the rain or something. Uh, Kind of reminds me of like, you know, with powerlifting. People's knee sleeves and elbow sleeves. You could definitely tell who didn't wash theirs because as soon as they unzip their bag, that classic stench from the sleeves would come out, the knees and the elbow sleeves. But a little fun fact for you guys. Um, but yeah, let's see. Let's see. If you guys have any questions for me about arm wrestling or gym stuff, let me know. Yeah, so I'm almost halfway through this, so I'm gonna be on there for at least another maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. Um, Unless it starts kicking in early, then I'm gonna hop off and get the workout in. Sundays in the Labyrinth in Connecticut, we're doing open gyms Sundays. So if you're interested, let me know. Facebook Nicholas Stone, Instagram _Team Stone 777. Shoot me a message if you're in the Connecticut area. Get some training in. Usually Sunday is usually one of my hard days for weights, so it'll be some good training. So I know I said it before, but I'll say it again. Make sure you get the pay-per-view. The money goes to the Turtle Man charity. Some to the athletes, some to the referees, but I gotta double check. I'm pretty sure everybody, athletes, referees, cameramen, they told me, I gotta double check, but I'm pretty sure everyone told me to just take their share and give it back to the charity, which is awesome. I think YouTube takes like 30%, maybe 40%. So whatever's left after YouTube's cut, that's what it will be. If you guys also want to donate to the charity, you definitely can. We're looking for sponsors for the next event, donations. Some people even donate items for the raffle. This year we were supposed to have a silent auction, but with the speed bumps in the beginning, we needed something to not buy time, but something that would be entertaining, fun for the crowd. So we decided to do the silent auction into a loud auction, and I think it worked out great. Like stuff that I wasn't even expecting to bring a lot of money did. Like we had some toys, like little tiny toys of Ninja Turtles. Like it probably cost like $20, but they ended up selling for, I think it was like 150 or something, which that was great. The East versus West shirts we sold went for quite a bit, which was great. But yeah, everyone that helped out and donated, thank you very much. Let's see. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want to talk about. We're missing our regulars. Usually our regulars are pretty good. Carolyn and Drew and I forget the YouTube names. It's what is it? Something friends with Benedicts or something. He's always in there. Let's see. I feel like with the YouTube names should probably be easier to remember, but for some reason I'm forgetting a lot of them. Brian's been in there a lot recently. Sayla. Mike, when he's not building walls, has been in there. Ben. We had a couple Bens. Ben from New York and Ben from, I can't remember where the other Ben is from. Yeah, but we're missing all our regulars. You guys must be. You guys must be working right now, which I get it. I get it. But maybe we'll see you on the next one, or maybe they'll hop on soon. I don't think I did a live yesterday, so maybe they're mad at me. Maybe they're giving me the silent treatment. But I think they're just busy. That's all it is probably. Which no hard feelings. Um, I might. I'm gonna. I've been going once in a while. I go like 3 times a week. I usually go for a pretty long walk. So maybe I'll start doing lives during then too. We'll see. We'll see. Um, Now, I got a question for you guys. What do you guys for arm wrestling? What do you think is more important, uh, weights or table time? Do you think that matters? Do you think the weight categories? Do you think the um, the class you're in? Do you think that changes the answer? Um, but I always think that's an interesting question, a fun topic. Um, 'Cause I always feel, at least for me, I think table time definitely is the most important. But um, as you get higher up in the weight classes, I feel that the if you don't have the a strength factor with the high level of technique, I feel like the super heavyweights is evolved. Um, well, I think even before I got into the sport, I think it was already evolved. But I think now it's a different type of level, meaning the best heavyweights in the world are extremely strong, but also extremely smart, good technique. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. You guys think similar? Is it different? Yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Um, but we've been on for 44 minutes and 5 seconds, so we're probably gonna hop off soon. Um, yeah, you know what? I'll end with this. I said it once, said it twice. I'll say it again. Make sure you get the pay per view. This channel under memberships. If you have a trouble on your smartphone, you're probably gonna have to use a laptop or a desktop. Some phones they just don't have the software to. I don't know. Some reason it's just not an option on YouTube for some phones. So you're gonna have to go to a desktop or a laptop or even a smart TV. Those haven't had any problems. We got some T-shirts left. Turtle Man 2 T-shirts going for sale. Go for 30. The Turtle Man shirts are 100% given to charity. The Turtle Man charity. We got Teamstone T-shirts, Teamstone straps. All these can be shipped. You just gotta pay for shipping. do a live for my if I'm gonna go if I'm gonna train hard, I probably won't set the camera up because I just want to focus on training. But if it ends up being a recovery lift, like if I need to focus more on recovery, I'll probably set the camera up at least part of the gym and just get the cables. Um, and yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.